Well, what's up? Looks like we're kind of live here on Sunday. So we're waiting for Nate to come in a little bit here. I'm not sure what we got going on as far as people-wise or whatever. So I would like to go in here and make sure I keep up on my comments, which would be awesome. Waiting for Nate, which would be a good thing here. Oh. All right. As soon as Nate gets in, we'll get started. I want to thank everybody for coming out. It's good to see people. I see 2 people are coming in. If you want, go ahead and go down into the comments and say hello. If you can hear me, if my voice is broadcasting good, let me know, because we're just up and date in the software. Every time we do the show, we try to update. It's another Sunday here today. It's the 18th of July. As soon as Nate links in here, he should be good to go. I sent him an invite, so he'll be coming in here pretty soon. Setting it off 7:01 and seeing everybody's doing. What's up? Hey, Judy, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Am I doing good? Awesome. Hey, Katie, what's going on? Michael Foster, what's up, dude? Or Forster. Sorry, Forster. I say that. I'm a little blind. I'm old, but good to see you here too, man. And I'm watching here, and I'm going to go ahead and log in down here and watch some of the comments. That way I can see what's going on too, as well as like when Nate comes on. I want to be able to keep up with you guys. And then watch those comments, which is good. That's cool. All right, so I can see what we got. That looks good. All right, now we're just waiting on Nate. He should be here in just a minute. Said he was having some signal issues or whatever. That's fine. Hey, Heidi, how are you doing? Let's see who's all here. Well, I can see a lot of people, so it's cool. It's good. We have 9 people here. Waiting on Nate. I'd like to get started as soon as Nate comes in. Herpers Hollow Road, what's up? How you doing, man? Herpers Hollow Road, that's cool, man. It's cool. Katie Stoltz, awesome. Yeah, I'm just waiting on Nate to get in here real quick. We're watching for him. Oh, I hear him. He's popping into my ear. There he is. I'm going to add him to the stream, and bam, what's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
It's good to see you, dude. How's the weather over
there? It's rolling in. You'll probably hear some of the thunder and stuff in the background throughout, if the signal holds, that is. Hold on, I got to clean the camera a little bit.
Well, you look really good. Oh, you're licking it clean? I love it.
It's like a swim mask, you know. You throw a little spit on it, it won't fog up. There we go. Much better, much better. All right.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm watching here. I got 2 things going, so I'm kind of up over here too as well, so that I can watch my comments as they come in, because I have a little bit different of a setup now, just so I can kind of broadcast from here. I'm actually doing it from the actual MacBook today, and then I can actually watch. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just want to see who's on and who's not. So what's everybody been up to out there? If you guys want to, go ahead and send us some comments, man. That'd be cool. We can start responding to some people and see how they're doing. David Zeke, what's up? David Zeke's here. That's cool. It's good to see David Zeke. Everybody's up and running. So Nate, we are not only broadcasting from StreamMate, Facebook, Môtley Crôc Show, Facebook, my thing, whatever it is, whatever they go, stream friends, StreamMate, whatever. We are streaming. Well, we have there's 2. I guess there's a link up. So I found another link. So now we're also on YouTube. Okay. So cool. we had to grab another interface, and I figured it out today, and it went over. Now it's over on. It's YouTube Live as well. So not only are we doing it, we're on mine, Môtley Crôc, and YouTube at the same time. Instagram's a little bit harder to get into with this. So I meant to say streaming mate. There's a stream mate and there's a streaming mate. I think stream mate is a porn site, and streaming mate helps you connect your other links from StreamYard. So there's always like this monopoly of apps that they seem to have a tendency to put in.
Yeah.
That they want. Oh, if you download this app, you can connect here. So I'm still working on that to try to get so we can do all of them, and even so we can do it live from like 6 different platforms at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, I got you.
And then this way we can upload it to I want to get the podcast going too, and we're going to start doing guests. And currently, like I said, I'm working on a studio in there, and I've got the room for it. I just had to buy a bunch of supplies. We're building the wall. I got to put up the desk in there. I'm looking into microphones, and then Nate, you're going to have to come up and do a live show with me from the studio, man. We're going to sit here on a drum set. You know, we can fuck around. We'll have the guitars in there. It'll be our own studio. We can shoot the breeze. I'm going to get it all done, and I want to bring guests
that'll
in.
Be fun.
Flavio's got some people he'd like to bring in to check us out and do some interviews. And I think we can go up and start interviewing people from some of the bigger facilities and rock and roll shows, promoters, anybody that would be, or even controversial stuff. I'm kind of looking forward to that. So
yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, it'd be a good thing right now. So we're still building this a lot of time. It's been 2 years, but we're hanging in there. I think we're doing pretty well.
Yeah, we're consistent, to say the least.
Yeah, it's as long as you build it, there's reference now. So we've got 2 years of shows. You can go log on.
Yeah, for sure.
To Facebook and get lost in it. I mean, some of the better shows were earlier in the very first year. Like the Dick Pic show was really, really good. We had a good time with that. We had guests on, and we were broadcasting when we first started from the wing of our pants. It was on the couch. Then it went to me and Nate from Nate's page talking, and then our page, and then we combined it. And then we ended up going to Flavio's. Then we'd all meet in Orlando, and we were setting up there. So it's actually turned out pretty. It's pretty wild. So I mean,
yeah,
I'm hoping
it's been a fun ride. I mean, I know everybody says that all the time about anything, but it has been a little bit of a fun ride.
Yeah, we've had some good friends, man. I mean, David's came and seen us a couple times. We got to hang out, and we've just met a lot of cool people, and it's really worked out for the best, I think.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll just get bigger and better and keep growing and keep evolving the way that it's been so far. So it'll be awesome.
And so we can talk. I mean, there's a lot of different things. We can talk about subjects and stuff. I mean, just life in general, and there's just so many things we want to get to. Like I said before, this show is pretty open mic, and for Nate and I, we just kind of talk about the bullshit of life in general, and
whatever kind of sort of
what our business is, like what FWC's, right? Whatever FWC is dumping down our necks, whatever other and just disgusting things in life, and people, and people are just I just don't understand them, and I know I'm a person. And I try not to implement, and the people that I find worthy of my time. Yeah, there's people that are implementing this, and there's people that not. There are people that I find worthy of my time, and that I will spend time with them, and they're just really unique and good people. And then the rest of them usually are just shitbags looking for the next fucking picture that they can post on their Instagram, or how they can look, or how they can use you, or how they can take you for something, or they know more than you, and they're like 20 years younger than you are, but they have more life experience. Those types of cocksuckers. But every now and then you get some good people, Nate. And I've come across some really good people that I've been sharing my time with, because I don't really care, man. I don't care to share unless I feel like I want to share.
Humanity as a whole isn't, completely worthless.
No. I mean, but let's
I would say
let's
there's a huge majority of the human population that are categorically fucking stupid. They're dumb,
yeah, but I mean, even I know, and it's beyond that. Some of them are not necessarily dumb. Some of them are just malicious, man. Or
then you have
like
a whole asshole
for themselves. Like, and I think to myself, okay, motherfucker, like you're gonna act like that, dude. But would you do that to one of your family members, or would you do that to your sibling?
And
or
maybe
would you do that to your mom? And maybe they would.
Bigger shit bags.
But then you'll meet this fucking garbage bag human being, right? You got to deal with them for longer than you want to, right? And then their family comes in, and then their family talks about them as if they're this wonderful. He's just been the greatest person ever, and you're like, well, who the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really, I guess we're all hated by somebody. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't like me, Nate. So I guess I'm not one to talk. They don't like me, but for no reason. Like I haven't stolen from anyone. I don't use them I have all the cool shit on my own. Everything I've got, I bought and paid for and got on my own. I didn't fence jump. I didn't sneak around. Right. I didn't be like, oh, I'm going to go be friends with Nate. And Nate and I have been friends for a long time, but let's just say we weren't. I'm going to go be friends with Nate so I can go take pictures with Trapper and make myself look like a cool guy or a zoo guy. Shut the fuck up. I'm so tired of it, dude. Really, I am. It's just getting old.
Yeah. I mean, and it kind of comes with the territory. You got to expect that the 9 out of 10 people are going to be using you for something, but then you get that one. It's all, it's all worth it. Well, I don't know if it's worth it, but once in a fucking blue moon, worlds collide, and you find that 1 out of 10 that's actually a decent fucking person.
Absolutely.
Which is how you and I cross paths, through a fucking soup of shitty ass people. You and I ran into each other and did more than shake hands. It was just like, hey, what's going on? And then we struck up a conversation, and then and so
you realize you have things in common.
I am glad for the handful of shitbag people that were around because of instances like you or Justin that came into my life as a result of having to deal with those fucking shitbags. You know what I mean? So it's a weird kind of paradox type of situation, but
I totally agree, man.
Had
I totally
it not
agree.
been for that group of shitty ass people that I got fucking wrapped up with for a half a second,
you get,
I wouldn't have met you. We wouldn't be friends. We wouldn't even know each other.
Exactly. And I think, truth, I can even go further back than that. There was a famous radio
I'm thankful
person
for them, but in a weird twist
for the situation.
Sorry, yeah.
Well, let's think about this. Remember, there was a radio personality years and years ago, and he asked me for a big tortoise, and I wasn't going to come off any of mine. So I had actually reached out, and I got a hold of Nate. So Nate and I met like that years. Way back before we were friends or hung out or anything.
Right.
We were passing each other all the time and just not really realizing it, but we were definitely passing each other, with the exception of things. And so we kind of met then. And then one time Nate's like, so, now we're what, a good, 7-8 years in now. Right. And he says, oh, just go ahead and email me this. And I clicked it up. I'm like, let me search this. Oh, fuck, Nathan. I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm looking on my, it goes all the way back to like 2006 and 2007. I'm like, holy fuck, man. Look at our emails.
Years before we knew each other. It's weird.
And I saw the pictures. Yeah. I'm like, he's like, I'll meet you here, whatever. I'm like, okay, it's for this. All right, this is what it costs. Oh, it's taking me a few days to dig him up. The son of a bitch is underground right now. I'm like, okay, we went back and forth a little bit. So it was pretty cool. And you meet a lot of unique people. And at that time, I was
hold on. Don't forget the ending to this story. So we met through that tortoise. Okay, hold on a second. We got to paint the picture.
Okay, go for it. Okay.
So the radio personality that you're talking about wound up going to prison for trying to kill his wife or beating his wife or something like that. Wasn't there some sort of murder?
Firearm, shoot. He didn't kill anybody, but he shot his gun and it ricocheted off, went through the dog's leg and hit his wife in the head, but it didn't kill her. Yes.
Okay,
it was
whatever.
For that person.
Dude shot his wife, went to prison.
He was all coked up.
Right. So anyway, so there's that tortoise. So our relationship, I'm looking at it like it has nothing to do with us and revolves around the life of that tortoise. Like if our life was a movie, it revolves over. So we met because of that tortoise. Years later, we become friends and realize, holy shit, we met because of that tortoise. And then what fell in my lap, like maybe a year after I opened Smooth Waters Wildlife Park, my own zoo. Do you remember? There was a fucking confiscation of tortoises from some fucking shit-ass business in Orlando. Yep. And what comes back to me but that same fucking tortoise?
I know. I remember. Yep.
That's some weird shit. We could write like a short story or a short film off of that alone.
You could.
And it's like, it has nothing to do, like all of the crazy-ass shit that's gone on in our lives since then, but it revolves around a 15-year span of this tortoise's life.
100%. That'd
be a cool topic. But anyway.
Yeah, so. I think you're totally accurate on everything you said. That's just totally, and that's another issue that, so things make a full circle. They really do make a full circle. And, there's a lot of people, man, that, like they just try to get you or they try to do stuff. And like, I went out to Crôc Fest. We all hung out at Crôc Fest there. We did our thing. I mean, you were there, Nate, weren't you? You remember what it was like. It was kind of just.
Yeah, I was there.
It was just kind of, no, I'm just saying you were there. You remember what it was like? It was just kind of mellow for us. And, you still have people that have vendettas and do things and they say stuff like, I was well aware that I could have made a big nightmare of myself out there and I could have acted like a pompous asshole, imbecile. And even though word even got back, man, that I was using profanity and screaming at the top of my lungs and saying F this and fuck this place and let's get the fuck out of here. Anyone who knows I didn't say any of that kind of stuff. So for someone to put that on a paperwork and report that back to friends of mine,
somebody said that about.
Yep, someone did that. Yep.
Yeah, because I was there the
then I push back.
Time.
So then I get pushback, and I want to know who it is, and then it's like, let's just seal it up. So whatever. But I never did that. You all know when we left, Jimmy was there. We all took off because Jimmy got hungry. Everybody had been there for a while, and it was just a lot of chaos, man. And all of us are getting old, and so it's cool. If I was 25 years old,
move the party.
Maybe we would be vomiting all over the table and smashing things up and stuff. But it got to be a lot. And so it was a great time. A lot of money was raised. I left, and I left Justin with Fred Grunwald. He's like, hey, I'm going to catch up with Fred. I go, okay. So walked up to Flavio, said goodbye, et cetera, and then you find out you hear stuff like that. So either that was made up just to have something to make up about it, or someone really did write that and send it in. So, I mean, like, I don't I don't really know. Maybe somebody that looked like me was saying that stuff, you know, and I look like a lot of people. So it's possible that
I could see it easy to connect the dots because there was a lot of people there that we don't really like and or respect rather, and they don't like us.
Respect, because I could care one way or the other.
Yeah, they don't like us and talk shit about us because we don't respect them, and we openly don't respect
That's exactly
them.
why we have that
That's
problem.
what it is.
You're exactly right. You're exactly
you know,
right.
So I don't find it hard to believe at all that, you know, as we're walking through and quietly talking to each other, I mean, we weren't loud. We weren't talking any louder than anybody else was there in a room full of yelling, screaming, chatting people. So it's not like it was a quiet moment and somebody blurts out, "Fuck this place." Not at any moment did any of us say, "Fuck." We were having a good time. And it was like, okay, well, let's head out on a good note and go move the party over to Troy's house. You know, so just the handful of us went to grab, you know, some snack food and go hang out at your place. So
that's exactly. It turned out that we were going to these restaurants, and it was this big night.
It was kind of a perfect Croc Fest because
I thought so for us.
You know, like we had a good time. We showed up. We contributed the money that we were going to contribute to the cause. And then we let everybody else enjoy that party the way it was, and we left, and it was fairly quiet, you know. And to a couple of people, you know, as we're going out, yeah, we're taking off, we're gonna book it out early, you know, but it wasn't negative. So, do I think for a second? Yeah, I can probably name 5 people right now that I know were there that might have just been like, oh, they were showing all sorts of fucking attitude and trying to get people to leave with them, you know. And it's like, no. We didn't want anybody to leave with us. We just wanted our own thing. You know? But I think it's funny that people will try and, you know, drive a wedge and stuff. So whatever the source was, I'd be interested to hear who was trying to chirp in your source's ear, you know, maybe trying to drive a wedge between us and your source. You know what I mean? How people try to do that. They get between you and try to sour the relationship.
Well, anybody who knows, this is a public channel, okay? So anybody can turn this on, look at it now. They can watch it whenever. I got some decent friends at Tampa. Jason Ryder being one of them, Dan Castell. Those just name it too, Spencer. Those guys are good guys. I do business on a professional level with Zoo Tampa as well. So I'm not going to go out there and embarrass myself and act like an idiot because let me just put this out there and let me put this in public format for you. I deal with a lot of shit, Nate, just like you do. So it's whatever, you know, it's always in one ear and out the other. And it can come from anybody from family or whatever. You're still going to get these little minuscule people and they're sad and they never want to fix themselves and they want to cry about shit or sit around or not change or change, whatever they want to do
or
and
just
start
shit on everybody else.
However, I respect those guys out there at that zoo. I'm a professional out there. So coming any type of place that we're raising money for something that we do with crocodiles is very important. So I'm not going to go out there and make a fool of myself. And anyone who knows me truly knows me, knows that. Now, would I retaliate if somebody pushed me too far at a place like that? Yeah, I'm going to retaliate. Now, and when I retaliate, it's not going to be nice. I'm going to retaliate I'm an extreme person. I'm a very loud, extreme person, and I take a lot. So if you push me to that level, I retaliate, then you're going to have something to write about. But I can tell you the single most embarrassing thing of my life that I live right now that I'm embarrassed of, that I'm ashamed of sometimes when I say, is that I'm an animal person in today's society, in this industry. Because the majority of those people are shitty, alcohol or substance dependent, lying thieves, dirty, smuggling, murdering animals for profit, shitbags. And so when you come up and you try to talk to someone, they look at me and go, look at that motherfucker. He's a Satanist. He's a dirtbag. I bet he's a junkie. I mean, you just be amazed what we hear. And so at the end of the day, all this thievery and these lies and this backstabbing, and it's always, everybody goes, oh, well, it's every industry. Truly not. I worked in the Harley-Davidson industry for a long time. And I was in a lifestyle where if you did that kind of stuff, you would either get, you know, shot and killed or beat for an inch of your life or worse. I mean, really, so we just didn't act like that. So there wasn't all that kind of went on. It was done. We had church every week, motherfucker. We talked about it there and it was done. It wasn't carried over and over and over. And there sure wasn't sour grapes. Whatever we did was for the greater good. So if I figured something out, I said, man, I'm taking this to my brothers, or I'm going to Nate with this, and I'm going to show Nate. Nate's going to show me what he found out, or Nate's doing this, or Nate's a welder, so he's going to help us fix these parts. We all had this group, man. We all laid our weapons on the table. This here is one of the worst things ever, dude. This is like, being an animal person is the worst, because Everybody knows more than somebody because of Google, or they searched it on the internet, or they saw it with some 20-year-old on YouTube showed them how to do it. So, what's been just close to 30 years of my life professionally now doing this. Some people make it up. They'll start when they're 3. Now, I'm talking about when I was an adult and going back. So I can be like, yeah, man, 40 years ago, because when I was 7 or 6, I got a turtle, and that was So I could lie like that too, but I'm not going to do that. So at the end of the day, we're at 27 years professionally. You learn a lot, and I'm still a student, and I still respect a lot of names. There's a lot of names in the game out there that I like that some people may not like, some people do. So but we get all this, and it's this constant challenge every day, and then. That's what I'm talking about with the people. It's just, you get tired of it, man. You get tired of it. Believe me, Nate.
Yeah.
You're better off right now, dude. Believe me.
Oh, you're not telling me anything I don't know. I mean, the more I kind of sort of walked away from social media and the industry and working outside of my own, what I'm doing.
Hey, Peyton.
That's just the drama level's gone from up here to whoop, 0.
All right, well, let me say this. I got a couple comments I'm going to respond to.
My animals, take care of my house, so to speak.
That's what I want to do.
And write music.
And I'll go work out. I go to the zoo. Yeah, and I go to the zoo, and then I skateboard every night into the sunset with Flavio. And we like to do P lines, so we try to urinate on the street as fast as we're going on the electric board, so you can make the longest P line. Pretty awesome. Just to get back to back to regular stuff, like, hey, Peyton's on. David Zeke said, I'm a poser. I have a picture of Trapper. You're not a poser. For those of you who read that, he's definitely not a poser. There's a difference between coming out with your friends and
to do that.
Right, taking pictures with your friends.
Completely different.
Exactly.
When we're talking about people that come up and butter up to you and try to pretend like they're your friend and oh, hey. And
that sounds great, Peyton. I look forward to seeing
can
you.
I do that?
David said, what do you think about CrocFest being in Texas? I think it's fantastic. I would like to see CrocFest pop up all over the country. I think it's a great idea.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think it's going to dump money way back just because it started here with a couple of people getting it off the ground, and it's become a really good thing. There were some train wrecks in the middle and stuff, and you just in those types of industries, when things start to get big and profitable, you have to be that's when you have to be very careful. You really don't know who your friends are until you win the lottery. Then you really know who your true friends are. Okay, because you're going to start getting swindled. And when you have the goods, everybody's going to lie to you. So you can either be a dumb motherfucker and you can buy into it and ruin everything, or you can get a big head and you can try to run off. And those people got eliminated. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or you can just really focus on what it is you're trying to do and make that a very profitable thing for what we're doing. So I think CrocFest, to answer that question to you, David, CrocFest in Texas is awesome. Chris Dieter has an amazing facility out there. Jade runs his place for him a lot of the times, and she's always posting. If you haven't seen her, she's on there. If you go to the Crocodile Encounters or Croc Encounters, you can check out all their stuff online. But Chris Dieter's got an amazing place. Got big Orinoco crocs, a lot of Nile crocs. He sent some American crocs back with us to babysit for a little while. We shipped them back to him. So yeah, I think something out there at Chris's place would be awesome. Texas is cool.
Yeah,
it's big, and everything's big in Texas, man. And so,
Well, but I mean, the more places, the more states, the more countries that kind of adopt the model, and tote the CrocFest name, the better it's going to be for the effort, for one, and two,
right.
It gives more people an opportunity to get involved and really get out there. And I mean, and what I say by the CrocFest model is the fact that the organizers that first started the thing, and the only ones that are really left as the originals is Flavio, Kurt, and Colette.
Yeah.
They've held true to the model since the beginning. There's zero overhead in the production of the thing. Everything 100% is donated, and every penny of every cent that comes in to CrocFest goes right back. It does not pay for the cost of the event. And it doesn't do anything other than go straight to conservation, which is insanely awesome. Most other nonprofit groups, organizations, events, fundraising stuff cannot say the same and will not do the same thing. Most of the fundraising events you'll go to for anything, whether it be cancer or some sort of big thing, raising money for the troops or XYZ. They funnel the costs of production of that event into the money that they raise, which, okay, that makes sense. It's I'm not faulting that methodology, but they definitely can't say that 100% of the money that they raise goes to the cause they raised it for. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to shit on,
You're so right.
I'm not
dude.
trying to shit on all these other, things, but what Flavio, Kurt, and Colette did effectively was find a real easy, tangible, manageable way to create a great event and a great party and get it hosted by all these places, and the cost and the overhead be absolutely free, and 100% of everything goes to the efforts they wanted it to go to. I think that's fucking insane, phenomenal, and that's how pretty much any nonprofit or charity fundraising thing should operate. You know, if people cared that much about the cause, they would donate their time to help run or host an event.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so if I'm a musician, you know, or something like that, let's say I'm not an organizer or whatever, but if somebody calls me up and says, hey, do you want to, or if I'm the event coordinator and I call up, you know, a band because I know they're interested and very passionate in finding a cure for XYZ, pick your disease, you know, and we're going to do this fundraiser thing, every penny of it's going to whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, we love that cause. We'll do it for 10 grand. It's like, well, then you don't fucking care about the cause, because that's going to have to come out of the, you know what I mean? So like the way I look at people is kind of like, where is your heart really lie? And, you know, if you're not willing to donate for that call, if you don't say, like, I don't care if you know, Eminem has to get paid 10 grand to go play this charity event. That's cool. But in the same breath, don't sit there and tote how much you care about that cause if you couldn't prove it by doing it for free. You know what I mean? Like, donate $10,000 of your time to this cause, and that's going to go a lot further than whatever fucking shitty ass fucking song you're singing on stage anyway. That was long and drawn out.
That was actually good though.
You know what I'm saying. Good. But like right now, I'd like to take a pause from my big lengthy lecture on whatever point I was trying to make by pointing right down there and letting you know for this public service announcement.
I read that.
I read that. And I was like, this guy lunch today.
This guy. So I got confirmation too while you were telling that. I was talking with Jade from Texas. So next Sunday, she's going to come on the show and talk about Crôc Fest in Texas and what their plan is and dates and what they're going to do and how excited they are about it and what they're doing it for. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So we got her. I'm going to schedule her to come on with us next Sunday.
Right.
She's going to be a good time to do that. And then I also talked to Ashley from the Gator Girls, that Gator Boys TV show, one of the Gator Girls. She's talking about coming on with us one time too. So we'd like to get her in here and get her insight on some stuff and her Gator work in South Florida. So we're going to start bringing in some really cool guests and things like that. And I think that's going to be cool. I would like to do it in person. So like I had spoke to Ashley this week and I said, you know, you come up once I get everything done, you know, you can crash out with us for the weekend. Come up and stay, bring your boyfriend, whatever, and hang out with us. And then we'll go into the studio and we'll do a live talk and we'll get Nate up here and we'll all meet. We'll all sit at the round table in there and talk shit and do a good hour, maybe 2-hour show and just talk about, you know, just life in general and trials and tribulations of a TV show versus real alligator work versus whatever. And hell, maybe I'll bring Jimmy Riffle in from the Gator Boys and he'll be here. And Sarah can be there and we'll just have a big show at the table. I'll mic everybody up and we'll all sit there.
And we're going to have to get an actual table for that though.
I'm doing that, man. I'm not fucking around. I'm going to have a huge round table in there with chairs around it. I'm going to run power straight down. So microphones will be in front and I'm going to run it like a studio. Yeah, sweet. Man. It's going to be really
badass. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you need it. Nice small studio is what we need. And it's going to be really cool to be able to do that and make it right. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it'll make it more fun too. You and I can feed off of each other pretty well and kind of, you know, hold it down for a while, but it's always fun to have other people around, other opinions, other influences, you know, and then we bounce off of each other. So the more the merrier for sure.
100%. I think that's going to be really cool. So yeah, I'm going to have a table in there. I'm going to try to get my drum set and everything down in there. So we have a whole studio. We can go down there and fuck around. If we want to go jam out in the band, it'll be in the front of the house. So it'll really be loud for everybody.
Right.
Be awesome. No, but great. I mean, it's going to be really cool. It'll be like, you know, in session, on air. I'll put all the lights in and we'll have a good time with it. I think it'll be really cool. Peyton, me and Corey are playing a trip soon. Cool. Wendy's on. I'm trying to see if anybody else is responding. I know people are watching. I'm trying to catch all these comments. We got a good amount of them. So Yeah, so that's going to be cool. If I could actually pull that off, let's see, we're at 7:30. Wow, we've been talking out of our ass for like, we've been hitting from the bong for a little while. I could talk about that,
we're
bro.
about
You
halfway
folks that
through.
know how to medicate.
Sure.
This is an amazing bong right here. It's like a little bubbler. A lot of times when you're smoking, you got to pull it out. This one has a little breather right along the edge here, and so all you got to do is light and draw. And I'll tell you what, it's rubber, bro, it's silicone, brother. This whole bottom pops out of here. You squeeze it, it pops out. Clean the bong water, shake it up with a little bleach, let it dry, fill it back up. You can run whiskey through it if you want to put some Fireball in there and pull it, or you can do some purple Kool-Aid in there, whatever the fuck you want, and draw through it. It really makes for a good time. And a lot of people are like, whatever. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with a little weed. Some people sit and kick back the liquid beer all night long and do it. So why not just smoke it up and have a good time? Hank Williams Jr. said, have a good time with it.
Yeah, well, with weed over beer, like there's no recovery time from weed. You drink enough beer or whatever.
Sleep it off, man.
Yeah, you
sleep it off.
Well, there's no even sleeping it off. When it kind of fizzles away, it just fizzles away. That's it. There's no like.
Yeah, and then you fizzle it some more, and you fizzle
whatever.
Some more.
You're just like, I feel a little too coherent for the moment. I mean, that's it. That's the only drawback. So
yeah, absolutely.
I don't get it, but
I think that's great.
But it's great. If I like the other day is a good example of like I'm not a all day burner like some people and whatever. Like I don't care. If I didn't have to work and do whatever, then maybe I would be. But I use it mostly as like a sleep aid, and then for like muscles and joint pain because I have like.
Is that what you use it for?
Well, yeah. For the most part.
I use it to keep myself mentally stable because I get angry, bro. I get angry.
Hold on a second. You missed the word primarily. Primarily, I use it to help me sleep because I don't sleep well. Primarily, I use it when I'm like got real sore muscles or my shoulders acting up or the wrist or whatever, because it really does work and it does help, and it's a lot better than taking ibuprofen or aspirin or whatever. Leisurely, yeah. If I got a free minute, no responsibilities, I don't got to get shit done. Sure,
yeah, get your mental
self. I'm gonna fucking use it leisurely too, and who cares? Because it's nice and it's better than having a few beers to do the same thing.
Well, let's talk about weed for a minute, man. Like, let's talk about it. So I the other day, so just for the lack of something better, I don't know if I have it with me, but I have another pen, and I keep saying I'm an indica guy. I have to be on indica. So there's two strands, basically, guys. For those of you that don't know. I can't do sativa. No, just let's talk for those of you that don't know it.
Indica.
Yes, purple punches. Or there's the stuff called Gorilla Glue, and it's not. It's a like a sativa. So I saw they're like, hey, we've got Gorilla this or Gorilla that, and it's a mix. Okay. So I got this pen, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. I like this. Wow, this is nice. And then in about 15 minutes, I was fucking mad at everybody, man, because that's sativa. When I get on sativa, dude, I'm ready to fucking kill or be killed. Like I don't have time for nobody. I'm a smart ass dude. I'm rude. I'm cranky. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I have no filter. So I'm like, I can't do it. So I even told my doctor when I went in, like, yeah, I can't do sativa. So don't even recommend anything new that's got sativa in it because it makes me angry. I'd have to be by myself, Nate, in the gym for at least 2 hours. Then I'd be okay with it. I'd go in the gym. I could do what I got to do, and then I'm angry at the bells. But indica keeps me level. I'm already high strung. So
yeah, indica's my thing too. I like that a lot more.
And it doesn't make me like I don't do the Muppet on it, man.
It's funny how you just described that though, because I think this was like a week or so ago. I was driving around with Katie, and I just blurted out for a second, and I was like, it always makes me laugh when people are like, nobody ever gets in fights on weed as like an argument against alcohol. And I'm like, that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Like,
depends on what you're on.
I don't go out of my way to start shit, and I'm having a good time pretty much the whole way. But if shit pops off, like, yeah, I will fucking, it would I'd probably be less courteous to you stoned than I would be sober. So, I could be fucking violent if I'm stoned. Not that I'm not normally violent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, none of us are.
I thought that was funny.
None of us like to be normally violent.
Every time somebody's like, "Oh, nobody gets in fights on weed," I'm like, "No, you mean you don't get into fights on weed?" Like,
I try to be nice, dude. Like I try. I get angry. Right. But on sativa, I would be in the middle. Flavio and I would be out. So you want a horrible night, like a hurricane of a night with a bunch of twisters. Go out, let Flavio drink about 6 beers, and let me smoke sativa. There's going to be someone's going to jail, not everybody.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't want to be there because I would default as the babysitter, and then that means I don't get to have any fun because I want to be the rage monster too.
Right. So if you don't know about strands, guys, that's the deal right there, because it can be like anything, it can be crazy, and it can be overdone too. I just don't overdo it. Like some people are like, oh, I don't know how you smoke all day. Well, because I'm not blasting these big bowls off all day. I'm just micro dosing and keep myself mellow. So if someone comes in and goes, hey, we got a problem we got to solve, I'm like, all right, let's get to it. I'm not like, fuck, we got enough shit to do already. And it just keeps that, or someone comes up, hey, I have this really cool idea I'd like to implement, like reinvent the wheel that's been reinvented a billion fucking times, and I don't want to hear it. If I wasn't smoking, I'd be like, listen, dumbass, get the fuck out of here and don't talk. But I don't. I'm like, oh, can I listen to your idea for the millionth, hundredth time, 1,000 million times this year? What is it? Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Sure. Yep, rubber tires are good.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, rubber tires are great on a vehicle. Yep, they are. They're a lot better than stone. You got it. All right. So,
to throw the analogy at you, you're not the kind of person that, you're not trying to, well, to reference Tropic Thunder, you're not going full retard all day, every day. You're just, it's like just, just taking the edge off a little bit.
Now that word retard, that's a good word, Nate. Crazy. Retard. That's it's a good word there.
From Tropic Thunder, the advice was never go
full retard.
So that's what I was referencing.
I want to make sure. I know. I was hoping that you'd bring that up, because everybody's like, yeah, I clipped in there, and they'll screenshot this.
You can't say retarded.
They'll say Nate and Troy were making fun of retards. You should have heard what they said. And then later on, you go, no, you just go a couple seconds further. It's Tropic Thunder. And in Tropic Thunder, didn't the one actor, didn't he do blackface in there too?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I respect the developmentally
that
challenged.
Fucking shit was awesome.
But there are some seemingly normal people that are flat out fucking retarded by definition. It doesn't mean they have a fucking clinical issue. It just means that if something is retarded, like this piece of paper right here, it's supposed to be flat. A flat piece of paper. But if I do this, put a crease in it, this is your magic show for the day. Now, this paper, by definition, has been retarded. So,
look at this guy.
So it has nothing to do with the fucking developmentally challenged, is what I'm saying. So if I call you retarded, it's because you're a fucking retardedly normal
I think that's the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
I'm not wrong.
Like, the paper has been retarded. Let's see here. I'm responding to another. I got another thing coming in. This is so funny to me. Anyway, so that's cool. That's cool.
But, circling back to what we were talking about too, like, I think it would be incredible for CrocFest to span worldwide and have, chapters or branches or whatever everywhere, at least 1 or 2 on each continent would be pretty badass, I'd say the trick is what you were pointing out would be to make sure that the people that are running each individual spot don't succumb to some kind of corruption with, like what you were saying, with lots of money comes potential corruption. So, that's the only challenge you would run, because that would hurt the CrocFest name to find out that, CrocFest UK or Europe or Asia or whatever had somebody behind it that was funneling most of the money away. And then it just puts a stain on the entire organization.
Oh, yeah, it does. Or you find some motherfucker tells a lie and says that someone was doing X, Y, and Z with it. You know what I think I like about, like you were talking about with funneling money, but CrocFest in itself, the books are open, man. They give everything they make away, man. It's the coolest thing. Nobody's stealing from nobody, because you know why? Everybody who leads that up is wealthy.
Yeah, they don't need to do that.
You bring a dickhead in there, they'll have to steal. But we have high integrity
over the history of CrocFest.
I'm sure there's been a time or two.
Over the history of CrocFest, no, there's been a couple people that had been involved. That's why I say, the only original members to still be involved with CrocFest are those 3, Kurt, Flavio, and Colette. And it's because the others were weeded out because they were that type of personality that was in it for monetary gain or the spotlight, or they were trying to control the money for nefarious reasons. And so all of those people have been shed away from having anything to do.
Yeah, and that's what you should.
Well, the best part, too, is they haven't been banned from CrocFest. They're welcome to come and join in and whatever, because at the end of the day, it's about the animals and the money that's raised for the animals, not about the people involved or the people running it or anything else. It's about the animals. So, if those past, faces of CrocFest or co-organizers or whatever they may be to CrocFest, like walked away from it and haven't fucking returned, it's because they ultimately just showed their true colors and didn't fucking care about crocs or conservation, and cared about what everybody thought and they cared about, and that's why they got booted away from it. So I could name some names. Should I name some names? Because there's a couple I could think of. That's
nope, I wouldn't do that for sure. You done?
But anybody,
Okay.
I don't care. I mean, what's going to happen? I'll be the first person banned from attending CrocFest because I named a couple people that they didn't want to bring up again.
Stop clawing, you little booger. Yeah, exactly.
And I don't even think that would happen. They wouldn't care. The organizers would be like, ha, 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 that was funny. And now, these other people who are more famous than me will sick their little fucking social media minions on me. And, oh, no. Like, I haven't dealt with that
man,
before.
Let me say this for anybody out there. I'm
the worst person to shit on.
I don't give a fuck, dude. How many people you got following you? Who gives a shit? I'd rather have less, man, because you want to have a better life. You keep a good group. All that shit. Sure. Would I like to reach a lot of people doing what we do? I really don't care how many people we have or don't have here and there. It doesn't matter. The only time that it ever matters is when we're advertising for something with a good cause. Other than that, I've got to be honest with you. Being a social media star has never been something that I'd like, oh my gosh, we need to do it. There's a lot I'd like to share. And I think we'd have a really good time doing some of the things we do and showing it. But I like this, man. This is like, where we can talk and we're bouncing ideas around, and I think, and facts of life. And we also take a lot of different, what's the word? We take a lot of different views and opinions. And so we can learn from those too. And that to me is critical and what I think about what I'm doing. Like I've had some people say stuff and then I'm like, wow, that was pretty awesome. I get that. That's a good way to analyze that. That's a good way to look at it,
Sure.
So.
Oh, I love it when somebody throws. I love those moments, whether it's, you or any of the core group of us, or just a complete outside stranger or whatever. I love it when somebody like throws something at you and then it totally changes your perspective. And it's like, huh.
Right.
I never saw it that way before. And now I completely think differently about it, or I'm going to think more about, so I think for the most part, we're all pretty open to change and learning and being, well, I'm totally cool and open about being wrong. Like, I don't.
Well, you should be. I am too. I get that.
I don't generally spout off shit unless I really know what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah,
but there's been
that.
A few occasions where I kept running and I was wrong about what I was talking about, and I just thought that I knew. And then I'm the first person to turn around and be like, oh, nope, I was definitely fucking wrong. I'll own that shit. My bad. But now I want to learn, So.
Yep, I agree.
But
100%.
I love those moments where, and it's just like one word, and it starts off with why. Sometimes Flavio's great at that, where you'll be like, no, this fucking sandwich is so fucking blah. And it's like, well, why? Couldn't it be? I don't know. And then you're just like,
yeah, I love it.
You just fucked up my whole universe. Like, never thought of that.
That's actually really funny. That's true, man. That's true. That's really true.
Here's a famous one. I was trying to find something to reference, but you've heard this before a lot. And it's just like, oh, you can't fucking do 50 through a school zone. And Flavio would say, well, you can, but you shouldn't. There's a very huge difference between those two fucking words. And most people don't put that together until somebody says that sentence out loud. Like, no, you can. Look, I'm doing it right now.
His thing is
you shouldn't.
His thing all the time is, yes, you can. Why not?
Why not?
Like, exactly. Oh, we can't let that animal run out there, man. It could get away, or it could hurt somebody. Yes, you can. Why can't you?
Why can't you?
I'm like, okay, man. Here we go. Flavioisms, I call it. Flavioisms. But,
yeah, Flavioisms.
We've heard them for enough years now. We understand them. They're challenging, though. None of them have ever been, to me, it's been like I get it. I'm like, okay, I know why you said that. Okay. He just walked in the room and forced a different perspective on everyone. He forced it. He didn't calmly come in. He didn't fucking force it, but it's okay. It's all right. I get it sometimes, but he also understands not reinventing the wheel. He gets that too.
Right. Well, so, the ones that I,
you can make the wheel better, but not reinvent it.
Yeah. Knowing Flavio much better now than I did, say, 20 years ago, because believe it or not, shit, I've known him for over 20 years now.
I know you have.
But he, like, I can tell by looking at him now where he stands on whatever issue or topic that he's like debating or whatever. He's a real big fan of playing the devil's advocate on stuff. So like, I love it when we're sitting around at like a fucking dinner table or we're all out drinking or something, and somebody says something and then Flavio challenges it with a statement that he doesn't even fucking believe. He's like, oh, I disagree with this 100,000%, but I'm going to say this in a way that makes you think that I believe in it. You know what I'm talking about?
Right,
Where he does that
right.
little flip, and it's like, oh my God, you totally just killed that person's argument for something that you believe 100% in agreement with them on.
Oh, yes. I totally agree.
When he does that.
I totally agree.
And it's like, no, I know you're totally on her side. You just wanted to shut her up or him up. So you said this thing to totally fucking destroy their fucking ego and change the whole gears of the thought process. It's fucking amazing to watch.
Yeah, I totally know exactly what you're talking about with that. I see him every day almost, man. I know, I get it. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, I know, I've seen it. He's like, well, I just want to make sure they don't never forget it. I'm like, they're not going to forget that.
No,
that was good. No, that was pretty good. But yeah, so there's lots of that. And like I said, I wasn't lying earlier when I said that. I'm embarrassed to be an animal person. I love what I do, man, but I just, with all the propaganda out there, there's propaganda out there about that, not even about us, but just you got rights, animal rights activists and all stuff. And not that how can I say this? Not that what they believe in is wrong. It's not wrong, and I do believe you should look out for animals, but I think you should understand it too. I also think you should understand what you're defending and how to do it, because
here's I totally understand what you're saying, but to be a little bit more specific, I kind of disagree. At least with organizations like PETA. I don't understand where their mind is, and they don't care about animals. So like groups like that, like animal rights groups, don't care about the animals. Their heart isn't in the right place. Their heart is, and their whole goal is a fucking wedge to just keep humans and animals completely fucking separate 100%, which means fuck conservation efforts. If it's meant to go extinct, they're happy with that, as long as we don't fucking touch anything. And it's their mentality, but that's specific to like PETA and like HSUS.
I know, and you're right, and I agree, because if you think about that first, let's bust it down to a couple segments.
I get where their heart is at, but that's a different thing, and the general public doesn't get that.
But let's think about this for a second. Let's think about this. Like, a lot of reasons. They say they don't want us to interfere. If it goes extinct, it goes extinct. But 90% of the time, and I would say maybe a little more than 90, but for the sake of argument, I'm going to say 90% of the time, we're the reason that we're making things extinct. So we're 100%. Touching it anyways. So them trying to stop that is dumb.
Right. It's humans fixing what humans already fucked up. So there's no conservation effort or anything that exists out there that isn't, a small group of good humans that are trying to fix what the vast majority of humans have already caused. Yeah. So there's nothing that we've right. But even that being said, like, the animal rights groups are just militantly, they don't fucking care. There's no rationale really. Like, it's completely irrational, their approach, and their propaganda is geared towards duping the people that do have a heart and do think that they're putting their money in the right place to protect and help animals, but they're not protecting or helping animals. They're helping a terrorist organization, and that's all they're doing. So the only good people involved with PETA are the blissfully unaware dumbasses who didn't look into PETA before they gave them a whole bunch of fucking money.
Right. So that, what you just said in itself, think about this. So when I say don't fault them is you get a lot of people that are young and impressionable, and the false mission statement that they put out gets these kids hooked, and they don't understand. So at the end of the day, you don't think people up in the high end of Peter are making money? They're making money.
Oh, absolutely. They're making billions of dollars a year.
They're like a church. Okay.
Millions, at least.
So they got all these little minions putting the money in the pot, and then they're like talking about what a great job they're doing, and then they're going home and they're fucking Jaguars eating off 14-karat gold plates, man, petting their dog under the table that they don't want you to have. And don't think for one second that that's not it. Now, does everybody feel like that in that place? Not at all. There's a lot of people that are good people, I think, are trying to be part of something, and they're misled by what some of those organizations' mission statement leads them to believe. Okay.
Yeah. You're right.
So it's many levels of horror that you have to get through. Right.
Yeah, but it's kind of their own damn fault, and I don't suffer fools. And the only time I've ever kicked anybody off of my friends group, I don't ban anybody from any of my social media stuff, but I'll like unfriend you and then reach out and say, look, I can't associate with you anymore because you are affiliated or associate yourself with PETA or this other group or that group. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't know. I'm like, that's not my fault that you were too stupid to fucking look into this thing that you want to support. Like, I'm not fucking supporting shit until I know everything I need to know about it to get behind it and say, you know, whatever. Even if it were, let's say, me and you. If me and you are out in public, you start spouting off and somebody wants to whoop your ass, I'm going to stand shoulder to shoulder with you and fight those fuckers win or lose because you're my boy. If I agree with you, fine. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to do the same fucking thing. But after the fight and after we walk away, I'm going to let you fucking know I think you're a fucking idiot and I don't agree with anything that caused that fucking bullshit. And now
right, exactly. And I agree that you should be like that.
So you owe me at least 6 fucking beers, asshole. You know,
but we've made the mistake though, man. We made a mistake when we were young about, you know, maybe buying into the wrong or right thing that we didn't know about because we're young, passionate, and we're full of testosterone or estrogen,
right, but
whatever we are.
What did you and I do once we figured out that thing was caustic?
We moved on, man.
Whether it was a person or whatever. Yeah, we said, oh, fuck you fucking... Yeah, sometimes we all make mistakes and fall for something, but the majority of people, instead of admitting the fact that they feel humiliated and made a mistake... And it's like, you're going to feel humiliated. You feel stupid because you backed a horse that was a complete fucking asshole. And then now you have to go back on what you said. And I'll just get out in front of it and be like, look, I was fucking wrong. Like, I thought this was something that it was, or I thought this person was somebody they were, and they weren't. And I got fucked for it. So to everybody that I, burned along the way, you were right. I was wrong. My bad. But most people won't do that. Most people will double down on their fucking mistake and then fight it and be like, no, it's a good company and they want to fucking do this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yep, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
You drank the fucking Kool-Aid,
And that's my point. You got to argue with these people a lot of times and they just don't really know what they're arguing about, man. So, like, it's
just spouted rhetoric and whatever.
Yeah, like they just don't know.
So, I mean, in that sense,
excuse me.
I still think they're fucking dumb, and I'll just say that. It's like, no, I don't fucking pity you. I don't feel bad for you. Like, you're a fucking idiot. You know what reality is, and if you don't, then whatever. Sheep. Here's some fucking sheep food. What does sheep eat?
I mean, I know they eat oats, and I've seen them eat grain,
so
and I've seen them eat grass.
You can throw pretty much. You can throw oats at them then.
Yeah, like the Wonder Bread.
Here's some fucking oats, bitch.
Like we did with Flavio. Okay, Wonder Bread. Here you go. Wonder Bread.
What now, mayonnaise dick? That was my favorite one.
That's funny, mayonnaise dick. Oh my god, I remember that whole story. You're making me laugh with that one.
What now, mayonnaise dick?
But man, like it's just that's all I want to say. I was embarrassed to say that. And yes, animal groups, be part of whatever you want to be part of, but just make sure that you really look into it. And there's been a lot of people that told me to hate somebody that I'm not going to hate because they told me to. I don't like that. Because I've been that victim. Yeah. If I tell Nate somebody's a motherfucker, I'm gonna already be thorough about what I tell him. So that's the way that Nate goes. That fucker right there, dude, did this, and this. That's good enough for me. But my friends that I'm close to, I have vetted. But a lot of people say things and they don't really know.
So. Well, I always love the thing when somebody's trying to do that. And all I do is write it off as you're just trying to drive a wedge and you're a piece of shit. And so anybody watching or listening, take this to fucking heart if you're guilty of it, because the perception that you're getting is completely wrong. But when somebody comes up and says, hey, Troy, that guy that you're hanging around with, like you really shouldn't hang around with him and you shouldn't be friends with him. And you know, we're going to have problems if you are. And then you're like, why? And be like, you know what? I just really don't feel comfortable talking bad about people. Just, he's not a good guy. And that's all I'm going to say. And then they walk away. They leave it like that. They give you the fucking bread or the butter with no toast, or the other way around. You know what I mean? And they just leave it. So they plant that seed. So now you feel kind of shitty because you're like, wait a second. Like, I like this person, but what is their, what the fuck are they talking about? What's going on? And now you have this ill thought of this new person. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Hey man, just remember, some people thought Jeffrey Dahmer was the sweetest man they ever knew. And some people, he was eating them. So, I mean, you know, there's always going to be somebody. What I like is when I get like, and this happened to me recently.
Well, when somebody's trying to be a dick because they don't like somebody, but they don't have a good reason for it. Now they're trying to keep you from being friends with that too. That's a caustic thing. That's not legit.
Yeah, and be careful what you repeat too, man. Because all you motherfuckers that come on here and watch this later because you want to see what we're saying. You hate us so much, but you want to see it. Watch what you spread around before you spread it around, because sometimes you're wrong. And I'm all for it. You can pick up the phone and call me. Most of the people who do that kind of stuff have my information. They can find me.
Yeah, but they don't want to, because
I'm not talking about being a stupid badass. I'm this big tough guy and I'm gonna beat everybody up. I'm not saying that because I'm not that person. But I'm well aware. I can hold my own ground verbally and especially mentally. I can sit down and have a conversation, figure it out. But usually, if you're going around doing that, I know you're a dummy, and there's a reason, and you're just a dummy. And so it's okay. I already know you're a dummy, man. You're just a dummy, and dummies do that, and they talk shit about stuff they don't know about. And
this is the nicest I've seen you, speak like this.
Well, because let's just be honest about stuff.
Like you're not saying like you're a little pussy bitch or a shitbag. You're being,
no, man, you're just a dummy. You're just a dummy.
You're doing that.
Yeah.
You're doing
because I don't.
You sound like a dad or a cool uncle right now. It's like, those people are just dummies. Don't lose any sleep over it.
Because man, you got a point. I used to let and we've all been guilty of it. I used to let shit bother me. I think it's great now when I look on some of my social media, and let me tell you this: a lot of times I'll see something on my social media, somebody will write some stupid comment, and I authorize every comment anyways that goes onto my page. So you can't just go on there and type what you want and expect it to go there without approval. So there's going to be words or whatever. And the reason I don't do it is I get some shit sometimes, man, but I don't care. I just that's good, funny, goodbye. I don't want entertainment because there's no life in it for me. It doesn't bother me because there's always going to be a little dipshit troll like that because, I've looked around, dude. Not all men or women are created equal. There's just some stupid, doofus, idiotic motherfuckers, man, out there that are just, they like to have trouble. And so I don't know if I don't care. I don't care about your problems. I don't care about what someone did to you when you were young. I don't give a fuck because you're not part of my life. So you can write whatever you want up there about whatever you want, and I just take it off. Now, if I was to type back and I get in these finger wars with you, I'm just encouraging your disgusting negative behavior. But when it doesn't bother me, I've got this thing where it's dead. I mean, there's a couple specific people. There's a guy that barbecues crocodiles. I just don't even talk about anymore, man. I don't even talk about him. He doesn't even, I'm good for him. I look at him all the time. I see him sometimes in passing or he'll flash up on something and I'm like, my God, does he have cancer? I'm like, look at him. Oh my God, what's wrong? What is that growth under his neck? Where's his chin to his neck? It's gone. Wow, he's already died. So the inside of that person is now projecting onto the outside. Yeah, and those type of people do not have, they do not have they don't have the draw, man. There are people who naturally can walk into a room and take it over and have a draw because they're natural born leaders and they don't care. And it's okay. And then you got weasels and then you got wackadoodles and you got 40-year-old guys that are beating off the pictures of naked children on the internet until they get caught. You've got all that. So I don't think that I'm like those people. I think those people ought to be burnt with gasoline in the middle of the street. I don't care if it's natural or not. Fuck them. Who cares? Or somebody that robbed an elderly person. Why don't we just take them back out in the street and burn them once they're proven? Just burn them up.
Yeah.
Who, you know, I mean, that's my point. But
even
we
worse,
want to remain civilized. Well, yeah, but I'm being civilized. Okay, I'm being civilized. So I always go back to, I think the ultimate punishment, for those of you that are old enough to understand this, there's a Metallica album and it's called One is the song, and it's on Injustice for All. It's called One. And it talks about being imprisoned in his own body. All his legs were gone, his arms, he was blind and deaf, and he was alive. And that's what you ought to do to those people. He survived the war and he wanted to die. The whole song about was wanting to pass away because of the horror he was in being alive. He couldn't communicate, he couldn't see, he couldn't hear, he had no arms, no legs. You remember One? Darkness imprisoning me, all that I see, absolute horror. All he can remember is what happened up to that time. So Nate knows it, I know it, because that was a very influential song, and it taught us understanding of, you know, life isn't perfect, motherfucker, and you better understand that you could be a lot worse off. And I thought about, like, man, can you only imagine the horror of being that, no matter how much comfort he was in or whatever. That being said, that's what you ought to do to some of these assholes out there starting trouble. But they will sink themselves, man. They will sink themselves, man. They get gross looking, their families, they start falling apart, they lose money, they have to steal, they have to kill their own animals and make it look like stuff for publicity, and they get going on. They start rumors about, like, me, about, you know, I beat my animals to death, I beat my lemurs. I'm sure someone's going to hear that afterwards. That's just was awesome. I mean, I get some of the greatest being accused of stuff that it's unbelievable to me. So you just have to let it go, man. So either I can just be that normal mundane guy and go outside, I'm home, and just go to bed and have my routine, or I can be loud, be on the Môtley Crôc show, wear Croc Star shit, fuck with crocodiles, ride around, have an owl that's my fucking buddy, and I can live like that. Or I can be and let everybody shit in my face, or I can just be a nerd, man, for fucking $9 an hour and not give a fuck about nothing but jerking off to a Wonder Woman book when I get home. I mean, it really just doesn't matter, man. Really.
Right.
So there you go. That's how I feel about it. I don't care about your feelings or anything. I don't care. Exactly. Nobody cares about you, your feelings, or how you are. Live your life, man. Just don't hurt anybody.
That was a mantra I kind of lived my life by, was fuck the dumb shit, until somebody put the world in perspective for me in, like, the perfect way that they could. And so this will be the last thing I say for the show, and then I'll just end my part because it's right at the end. But
we're at the end.
You know, no matter where you're at in life, or you know, personally or whatever, the guy was like, he told me, no matter how low you're feeling, just remember, it can always be worse. You could be a Siamese twin with two heads, and your brother is gay and he has a date tonight. There you go. Until next time, rock out with your croc out.
All right, guys, thank you for coming in. That was pretty awesome. I hope you took that to light. That would be a terrible problem, because for both sides of that, for that matter, on both sides of those twins. So that's a very interesting comment. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and end, and we will see you. Thank you for everything and all the support, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks again.